So working with tarot, I do feel like I have been almost like back and forth with how I wanted to work with tarot. Um, I'll be totally honest. A few years ago, I was so resistant to working with tarot. I was not interested. I was under the impression that the cards were solely for predicting what was going to happen next, like future forecasting, fortune telling, and then I, for some reason, just kept getting drawn to working with tarot, and it was interesting because sometimes the things that we're most resistant to end up being actually some of the most powerful things that we end up using or working with, and for me tarot has been that. So I had a lot of preconceptions about what it was, what it wasn't, and I think a lot of people can say the same, and in fact I do have a lot of people, when I read for them, are really surprised at what tarot is and isn't from my approach. I will say that a lot of what I work with and what I share with my readings are from the lineage of my tarot teacher, Lindsey Mack. And Lindsey is really starting to place this like radical energy under tarot. Her interpretations are really inclusive, are very medicinal, and her work is very much around like the soul medicine that we can get from tarot. For me, that is so powerful, because when we come into soul tarot or soul work, or using the tarot in a medicinal, supportive way, it can just really change up the energy and the frequency that we work with. So instead of the cards being here to tell us what's next, or to make some sort of forecast about what's ahead, the cards become sacred invitations and sacred energies to kind of bring up to the surface, very much connected to what the soul is sort of yearning for us to be looking at. And the other powerful thing that I find, because it is medicinal and it's very much connected to the soul, it allows us to work really intelligently, in my opinion, in my experience, very intelligently with whatever we're going through. What it does is the cards almost come up as places of support. So if you are going through something, the cards or the readings that come are there just to give us that holding, to feel held and acknowledged with whatever we're going through. They do not bypass what you're going through, but they give you that space to see what maybe is coming up as a lesson, a learning, a support, how you can process what you're going through, what things actually can you work with in a very practical way as well. That has completely changed and transformed how I work with tarot, and having that opportunity to realise that it's so inclusive and there's a lot of liberation with the tarot. It was interesting just to notice in myself how I changed. So having that mindset of realising actually these cards are really here for deep support and medicine, it just allowed me to really open my personal channel. So allowing my channel to be open to bringing guidance through. So I noticed pretty quickly that once I started to really tune into that medicine, I was able to bring guidance forward in different ways, and in ways that I'd never done before. I'd always thought that I was an intuitive. I've had this ability and capacity and willingness to really show up in that space, to be an intuitive. But the tarot really allowed me to become more of a channel, which has been really, really exciting. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, because it really became such a healing process for me. It became a space to fully embody anything I was going through, knowing that I didn't have to rush through something or bypass how I was feeling. It did the opposite. It really kind of brought it into a safe and nourishing space. So it's interesting sometimes that we have these preconceptions of things. We have old paradigms, we have old beliefs, and we have things which we've been told about certain things. And so there's been a massive reclamation, re-education, reconditioning for me. And I love talking about tarot and working with it in very intuitive and unique ways. I think that's also something to be really said about how we work with tarot, is every reader is different. Their approach might be completely different, and they might be doing fortune telling and forecast predictions. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with what they're doing. That's just not aligned to how I work with it. Please let me know if you've got any questions about anything that I've shared today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.